So why do brands change their name? Well, there are a number of reasons why brands change their name, and I want to walk through a few of them with you. Now, sometimes brands or organizations may change their name because there has been a merger or an acquisition. They have either joined with a new entity or they've been acquired. They have a new owner, and they will change their name to to acknowledge that. So the most common reason that organizations or brands change their name is because the original business has expanded, again, either as part of a merger or an acquisition. Another reason that a brand or an organization may change their name is because the current name may not accurately convey who the company is in this moment. It may not convey what they do now. Sometimes when you look at organizations or brands that have been around for decades, they may have started out doing one thing, but over time they've shifted and they need to change their name to reflect that shift and that change. Perhaps the current name is limiting, or it no longer describes who the entity is or who they're striving to be. And so that's another reason a brand may change their name. Another reason is that the name could be too long, it could be too difficult to say. And, organizations are often in the position where they need to do research to find out how they are landing on their customer or their client base. And sometimes when you're a part of an organization, you may feel really, really strongly. But then when you talk to your network or your audience, they may not have the same level of information that you have, and they may not hold your brand the same way. And so sometimes you may hear feedback over and over again, and sometimes organizations may change their name because they've heard feedback for a long time that their name is too long, it's too difficult to say, or it's simply not effective. Now, another reason that brands or organizations may change their name is they could be trying to escape reputational harm or a negative brand. Now, let's face it, sometimes organizations can get in trouble. Sometimes brands can get in trouble. Sometimes they make terrible decisions. I've been thinking about this a little bit in the context of media mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Now, as long as he's been in the public eye, he has had many name changes. Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love. I think most recently it was Love. He even produced an album or issued an album called Love. And when he was changing names, I'm sure there are some people who wonder what that was about. The more we learn about the allegations against him and the things that he's accused of, I wonder if part of the intention in changing his name was to deflect or to create this new vision or this new image that, quite frankly, was far from reality. Even calling himself Love, when we've heard so much about the alleged torture and pain that he inflicted on so many people, it is the height of irony. And so he's one example, but sometimes when you see or you hear about organizations that change their name, especially if it happens suddenly, it's not always because they're seeking to tell a different story or a better story. Sometimes they've created so much harm, they want to try to distance themselves from that or get away from it, and they may change their name. Now, the other reason that organizations may change their name is because, our public sentiments, they shift over time. And what is acceptable in one period may not be acceptable in another period. We're living in a time where people want their celebrities to be concerned about, social good. They want people to care. They don't want people to be disconnected. We're also living in an era where many in our nation are more health conscious. We're more thoughtful about even the climate. And so organizations that have names that run counter to public sentiment could face difficulty. If you think about Kentucky Fried Chicken, now it's called KFC. But years ago, at least when I was younger, it was called Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then people moved away from fried food, and fried food kind of went out of style. And when that happened, Kentucky Fried Chicken changed their name to KFC. And so people, brands, and organizations, they are always adjusting. They are always, at least the effective ones, measuring public sentiment, public attitudes, and they are sometimes adjusting based on what they are finding. So these are a few of the reasons why brands or organizations may change their name. If you like this content and it's been helpful to you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a positive comment, and you may also share it with friends or colleagues. Thank you for listening.